Okay, so today we're still going to be covering basically part 2 for our, anybody remember the series, what our nickname for this is? It's written over there. Safety net. Safety. We could name it a million things. I didn't name it, you just call it the safety net. It's like an additional layer of defense. So Monday we talked about head control, underhook. If I have time, I'm looping my thumb in, bringing it down, kind of making a fist, punching it, and then I transferred it low. So that was the safety net under, where I come under the arm and I hold him here. This is a really good way to be able to run heavy shoulder pressure, but also keep both of his shoulders on the ground. It's really uncomfortable for Aaron because I can really load up that chin and start taking away his options, okay? We're doing the same thing today, but this is the over, so watch. A lot of times they're gonna be running their throat frame here. If their throat frame is here, I get my choice. I can go under and it's easy. Sometimes their arm's doing funny things, right? Sometimes they're framing really hard, sometimes I go to go under and they drop because they understand this. Other times, just go with the standard throat frame. I'm gonna do the same thing, get my thumb in, pull. But this time, instead of punching it down to go under, I'm gonna pull. And basically, I'm gonna keep the same thing. I wanna keep tightness, no slack in the gi. I'm gonna transfer it over. Now, the one thing I will say, between the bump in his wrist and the bump in his elbow, an ideal spot is to get the part of the lapel halfway. In other words, I don't wanna be too much towards the wrist. I don't wanna be too much towards the elbow. It can slip out. So long story short is, we're coming in here, I'm popping, I'm gonna kind of roll my palm down, punch it over, and sometimes my elbow's gonna come in here. It's gonna depend on the size of my player. I could be here. I'm gonna transfer it here. Once I get this one specifically, I need to keep this tight. So I need to take my grip and try to keep it down and behind his neck. So if my grip's up here, he may be able to pull his arm out. I wanna keep it down and tight, and now his arm is basically tied into a sling. It totally takes this weapon away. When you guys start playing with this, you're gonna see as long as I can keep this tight, and by the way, still developing my shoulder, it's very uncomfortable for him. It takes his arm totally out of play. Now, the first transition we're gonna do is for position and not submission. So now that I've transferred the lapel, boom, over, gotten it, and kept it tight, and really rolled my shoulder and locked this in and made him uncomfortable, I'm going to grab the outside grip. Remember, 7 grip, outside 7 grip. And some of you guys aren't familiar with the numbers, we can talk about that later. The outside 7 grip right here on his knee. Now, rotate with me. So I've got my safety net over, I've grabbed the knee. This leg is going to basically straighten out, and I'm gonna drop my hip pocket on the ground. I want my hips to line up towards his knees or ankles. Here. Now, I'm gonna pull this leg off the ground so he cannot plant. I'm gonna drag it towards my own side, and then with this leg, I'm gonna make a long step over. I want my ankle to cross over my wrist. Now, as my knee comes to the ground, I simply take my mount. Okay, don't let go of this yet, because in a few minutes, we're gonna kind of set a trap for somebody. So all that talk, I'm only gonna show this 2 times. This is pretty simple. I'm gonna go safety net over, drop my hip down, pull the knee up, down, gobble it up with my leg, and as soon as I let go, I need to get my knee to the mat. Boom. Should look a little like this. Safety net over. Take your time, get it nice and tight. I mean, tight. Grab the knee. Now I'm ready to flop on my hip and step. Here's my mount. I hold my points. Last time at a normal speed. One, 2, 3, 4 points. So the first one is just gonna be safety net over, take them out. Ready? 1, 2, 3. So everything's still the same, guys. We're gonna start from our standard side control, knee on hip, knee on shoulder, head control with chin, underhook. When I'm ready, I'm going to bring it over, midway point, take my time, and sometimes I might have to take some time and feed. Keeping my hand low, tight, really important part, develop the shoulder. That's what freezes them. I had a question a second ago, why do I play with the knees? Why don't I step over? Because if I just step over, Aaron can grab me in a half guard. Boom, now I'm in a guard. So why are we manipulating the knees? 2 reasons. 1, to bring his knees up and down, smash his knees together. 2, look, both of his shoulder blades are on the ground and his hips are facing a 90-degree angle. This makes Aaron much weaker. Now I step over, foot to the mat, as I let go, knee to the mat, and if he's rocking and rolling, I can always use this to post. Okay, now we've gotten our points. Guys, we're gonna transition to not necessarily a high mount with my knees under his armpit, kind of a medium mount. I'm low, my hips are over his hips. I'm gonna walk him up just a little bit and squeeze my legs. Now, I'm gonna keep this tight. I'm gonna gain some posture. When I do, I'm intentionally going to lift my hand back up. Here, see that little loop that developed? Now he can pull his arm out. Go ahead and pull your arm out. This is what we're looking for. He pulls his arm out. I'm now gonna take my fist, come underneath the loop, cross it over his throat, and drop my hand low. Now it's almost like an X choke. I'm starting to bring my hands together, straighten this arm. This is an Ezekiel choke. Okay, so again, just from the mount, put your arm back in. Once I get my mount and my points, I can loosen up. I bring my hand up as a pocket, they're going to fight their arm out. I've never seen anybody not take their arm out. Now I've got this loop. I come here, my fingers might get stuck in the guys. I would suggest making a fist. I come under the loop, over the throat, punch my hand to the floor, drop this back down behind his head, and start to squeeze. Okay, so the whole thing looks like this. Here I am chilling. I've got some time. Over, trap it, grab the knees. Here, once I get my points, sneak up just a little bit. Give him some slack by driving my elbow behind the head and lifting my hand. Even if he doesn't take his arm out, I can still do the Ezekiel. But we're looking for him to take his arm out. Under the lapel, cross the throat, down to the mat, and now I'm lifting up and bringing my hands together. Okay, what if? Let's go over what if. What if I give him space and Aaron's like, nah, I've been Ezekiel, bro, I'm gonna leave my hand in here. No problem, look, I give him space, he doesn't take his arm out, I still come under, over, with his own arm, I do a karate chop, I strangle. So, very last time. There are some techniques in jiu-jitsu that are like, bam, they're surprise attacks. Even if he knows what's coming here, it's gonna be incredibly hard for him to stop. So take your time with it while we're learning this. Over, pull, shrink up a little bit, loop, arm in or arm out, under, over, down to the mat, and now I'm starting to strangle. Okay, this is the Ezekiel choke. Traditionally, Ezekiel choke is gonna look like this. Here, I'm basically doing the same thing. I'm creating cross tension. I just happen to be doing it with the lapel rather than my own sleeve. If he pulls his arm out, it's even better. Play with it. Guys, we're gonna do 6 minutes for this. Please don't kill your partners. When he gets tight, partners, just tap. Ready? 1, 2, 3. So everything's still the same, but now we're gonna go to knee on belly, knock them out. So I'm in tight, get the lapel. Again, trying to grab the lapel, not the fabric to the side. Halfway between the bumps in the elbow and the wrist. Transfer it, come up here, keep everything nice and tight. Sometimes I only get this, and I don't like this little chicken wing deal. I have time to kind of gather it up, right? Boom, now we're in tight. I will say this every time I teach this. If you guys train with me for 10 years, you'll hear me say it every single time. It's not just about this. If Aaron's chin is here, he's very strong. Turn his chin, smash him, make his life suck. Now, I can post with my hand, I can still transition to knee on belly. When I transition to knee on belly, with this one, same thing. I'm keeping it down. I'm kind of exaggerating my elbows here. And remember the lesson from Monday. If my arm is out here, he can duck under and unwind. So, as always, when I come up, I need to keep my elbow tight, and I'm basically bringing my elbow back towards my hip pocket. Now he can't duck under, or at least as easily. Okay, so his hand is trapped. I still have this, but I'm gonna attack his throat. I could create a pocket and let him take his hand out, but then it's gonna take away some of my future options. So I'm just gonna come here, almost exactly like I'm holding a baseball bat. Why is it called a baseball choke? It's short for baseball bat choke. When you hold a bat, your palms are coming towards each other like I'm holding a bat. So I'm here, I transition to my knee on belly. You can still cook them here if you want, bend them into a horseshoe, make their life suck. When I'm ready, palm up, over the wrist, in here. And now again, I'm gonna have to connect my elbow down, and this choke, guys, we'll show the unwind in a second. It's all about connecting my elbow to the chest and basically scraping from his like sternum over his shoulder down towards the mat. This is the motion that fixes. My body twisting here and here just puts me in position to drop my elbow over the shoulder, under the chin. I'm lifting with this back arm, cutting with this front arm, and again, don't put your head here because it stops my motion. Go like your gross analogy, but go like you're trying to smell his armpit. Bring your head over, off his body, drop it to the ground, and cut with this motion. So I'm still trapping the arm. So again, I transfer over, taking my time if I have to, getting it nice and tight, coming up to knee on belly. I'd prefer you guys cook here, 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3. Now we get our 2 points for knee on belly. When I'm ready, a little bit of slack. Hit, connect, slice, smell the armpit, drop the elbow, wait for the strangle. Sorry, Aaron, last time. 1, 2, 3. Strangle. North-south finish, no head on belly, forehead on mat, slice down. And with any blood choke, guys, you're gonna have to hold it for a couple seconds to get the tap, or they go to sleep. Try it. So this is safety net, over, knee on belly, baseball choke. Ready? 1, 2, 3.